In the dead of the night, a cargo ship quietly slips into the Port of Rotterdam. Hidden within its metal containers, nestled among crates of fruit, lies a secret. Tons of pure cocaine destined for Europe's streets. This shipment is just a small part of a vast criminal empire, masterminded by a man known as the Balkan Escobar Edin Gacanin. Born in 1982 in war-torn Sarajevo, Edin Gacanin's journey from child refugee to international drug kingpin is one for the books. For Gacanin, known to his associates as Tito, his story ain't a movie. It's a brutal reality that's left a trail of addiction, corruption, and violence across multiple continents. As bombs fell on Sarajevo in the early 1990s, young Edin and his family fled to the Netherlands, seeking safety and a fresh start. Settling in the southern city of Breda, the Gacanins tried to build a new life, far from the Balkan conflict. The straight and narrow path would not be his destiny. Growing up as a refugee in a foreign land wasn't easy. While many immigrant children threw themselves into education as a way out, Edin was drawn to the allure of quick money and street prestige. By his late teens, he was already making a name for himself in Breda's underground scene, dabbling in petty crime and low-level drug dealing. Gacanin was no ordinary street punk. Behind his tough exterior lay a keen intelligence and ruthless ambition. He watched, he learned, and he planned. As the new millennium dawned, Edin Gacanin set his sights far beyond the streets of Breda. Understanding that real power in the drug trade lay closer to the source, Gacanin made a bold move. In the mid-2000s, he relocated to Peru, a country he knew little about beyond its reputation as a cocaine production hub. It was a gamble that would pay off beyond his wildest dreams. In the bustling port city of Callao, Gacanin found his criminal promised land. Here, in the shadows of Peru's largest seaport, he began making connections that would form the foundations of his empire. Local crime families in nearby Trujillo, already deeply involved in the cocaine trade, saw potential in the young ambitious Bosnian. Blue barrels were filled with cocaine packed in watertight bags, revealed a source close to the US Drug Enforcement Administration. The boat would depart and approach the ship from the side, without using the engine. Then the barrels would be opened, the bags placed on a hook, and lifted onto the ship. This ingenious method, perfected by Gacanin and his South American partners, allowed tons of cocaine to slip past port authorities and onto ships bound for Europe. As Gacanin's operation grew, so did his reputation. He forged alliances with other major players in the global drug trade, including the notorious Kinahan cartel from Ireland and Italy's fearsome Camorra. These partnerships allowed him to expand his reach, moving beyond Peru to source cocaine from Colombia, Ecuador, and other South American countries. But Gacanin's true genius lay in his ability to innovate. He didn't just rely on traditional smuggling routes, he created new ones. His cartel pioneered the use of Ruta de la Banana, or the banana route, exploiting established trade flows of legitimate fruit companies to move cocaine from Brazil, Ecuador, and Costa Rica into Europe. By 2015, Edin Gacanin had transformed from a small-time Dutch gangster into one of the world's most prolific drug traffickers. The US Drug Enforcement Administration ranked him among the top 50 drug dealers globally. His Tito and Dino cartel was moving an estimated 30 tons of cocaine into Europe annually, with a street value in the billions. With great power came great risk. As Gacanin's empire expanded, so did the attention from law enforcement agencies worldwide. In a strategic move that would prove crucial, he relocated his base of operations to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Dubai, with its luxury lifestyle and reputation as a safe haven for wealthy expatriates, seemed the perfect place for a drug lord looking to enjoy his riches while staying out of jail. Here, Gacanin lived like a king, residing in the world's tallest skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa, and rubbing shoulders with other criminal elites. In 2017, Gacanin attended the lavish Dubai wedding of fellow crime boss Daniel Kinahan. Held at the iconic Burj Al Arab Hotel, the guest list read like a who's who of international organised crime. Present were Italian Camorra boss Raffaele Imperiale, Dutch-Moroccan crime lord Ridwan Taghi, and Dutch-Chilean gangster Ricardo Riquelme Vega, known as El Rico. This wasn't just a social occasion. According to later testimony from Imperiale, who turned informant, the wedding doubled as a meeting for an international super cartel that had established an investment fund for cocaine shipments. With a capital of 80 or 100 million euros, these crime bosses were operating on a scale rarely seen before. But Gacanin wasn't content to simply live off his drug profits. In Dubai, he set about creating a complex web of legitimate-seeming businesses to launder his ill-gotten gains. Using the Emirates' notoriously opaque free trade zones, he established companies like Edin Group DMCC and Dubai Free Zone Edin Group. These firms, ostensibly involved in everything from administrative consultancy to running a hair salon called House of Handsome Gents Salon, served a dual purpose. They provided a veneer of legitimacy for Gacanin's presence in Dubai, while also allowing him to move and clean vast sums of drug money. Even more brazen, Gacanin used these companies to employ members of his criminal organisation. Adnan Smilovic, described by prosecutors as Gacanin's deputy in Bosnia and Herzegovina, was listed as an accounting clerk for Edin Group DMCC. Another associate, Zernes Kadri, a former Bosnian police officer later arrested on suspicion of drug trafficking, was employed as an archive clerk. This blurring of lines between legitimate business and criminal enterprise was a hallmark of Gacanin's operation. It made his network incredibly resilient, able to withstand the occasional drug seizure or arrest of low-level operatives. But while Gacanin lived in luxury in Dubai, his influence back in the Balkans was growing to frightening proportions. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, his homeland, the Tito and Dino cartel wasn't content with merely smuggling drugs. They aimed to control the very levers of power. In April 2023, Bosnian police backed by Europol, the FBI, and the US Drug Enforcement Administration launched Operation Black Tie. In coordinated raids across about 30 locations in Sarajevo, they arrested 23 people suspected of links to Gacanin's cartel. Shockingly, among those detained were several high-ranking Bosnian law enforcement officials. The scale of corruption uncovered was staggering. Prosecutors alleged that Gacanin's organisation had the intention to take over the state by buying off politicians. The cartel had infiltrated law enforcement, politics, and even sports, using bribery, funding election campaigns, and exploiting political instability. The gravity of the situation is so severe, the complex nexus between organised crime, corruption, and political influence in Bosnia and Herzegovina underscored the urgent need for comprehensive measures to combat criminal networks and safeguard democratic institutions. Among those implicated was Aida Halac, a former professional boxer turned local politician. Prosecutors accused her of receiving payments from Gacanin to fund her mayoral campaign and of communicating with him secretly. This revelation highlighted how deeply the cartel had embedded itself in Bosnian society, reaching even into the world of sports and local politics. The tentacles of Gacanin's empire stretched far beyond Bosnia. In Peru, where his criminal journey began, authorities launched two major operations in 2019, codenamed B and Banana, preventing a shipment of more than 5 tons of cocaine destined for Gacanin's European markets. Several of his local associates were arrested in the raids. For every setback, the Tito and Dino cartel seemed to find new opportunities. They adapted quickly, shifting routes and methods. When one smuggling channel was compromised, 3 more would open up. The cartel was linked to massive cocaine seizures in places as diverse as Sri Lanka, Belgium, and Spain. Gacanin's operation was a truly global enterprise. He recruited members from Bosnia and neighbouring countries, many of them childhood acquaintances from Sarajevo. These individuals would be scattered across Europe and South America, running front companies, coordinating shipments, and laundering money. The cartel's financial network was just as international. They registered companies in the Netherlands, Slovenia, Spain, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, all used to launder drug proceeds. This complex web of businesses made it incredibly difficult for authorities to follow the money trail. Despite the growing heat from law enforcement, Gacanin appeared untouchable in his Dubai sanctuary. That changed dramatically in November 2022, when he was arrested by Dubai authorities at the request of the Netherlands. Dutch prosecutors accused him of orchestrating 2 major cocaine shipments in 2020 via the ports of Rotterdam and Hamburg. He was also implicated in procuring chemicals for the production of crystal meth. For a moment, it seemed the reign of the Balkan Escobar might be coming to an end. A court in Rotterdam sentenced Gacanin in absentia to 7 years in prison and imposed a €1 million fine. But in a twist that demonstrated his continued influence, Dubai authorities released Gacanin on bail in January 2023. His current whereabouts remain unknown. The story of Edin Gacanin is more than just a tale of one man's criminal rise. It's an illustration of how modern organised crime operates on a global scale, exploiting gaps in law enforcement and taking advantage of the interconnected nature of our world. The impact of Gacanin's cartel on Europe has been profound, According to the European Monitoring Centre for Drugs and Drug Addiction, cocaine use in Europe has reached unprecedented levels. A scientific analyst with the centre painted a grim picture. It's easier than ever for people to access the drug. Purity has risen. Problematic use has worsened. Crack cocaine has spread beyond urban centres. Hospitalisations due to cocaine use have increased. This flood of cocaine has brought with it a wave of violence. In the Netherlands, once considered one of Europe's safest countries, the spate of drug-related killings has shocked the nation. The most high-profile of these was the 2021 murder of renowned Dutch crime reporter Peter R. de Vries, who had been investigating links between Gacanin's associates and other drug cartels. The violence isn't limited to rivals and investigators. Innocent bystanders have been caught in the crossfire of cartel conflicts. In one particularly horrific incident in Antwerp, Belgium in 2023, an 11-year-old girl was killed when gunmen opened fire on a house in what police believe was a drug-related attack. These tragedies underscore the human cost of the cocaine trade, even as the facade of Dubai skyscrapers seems glossy, and the mind-boggling profits lies a trail of addiction, broken families, and shattered communities. The environmental impact of cocaine production is equally devastating. To meet the insatiable European demand fueled by cartels like Gacanin's, coca cultivation in South America has expanded dramatically. Vast swaths of rainforest are cleared to make way for coca plantations, while toxic chemicals used in cocaine production poison rivers and soil. Yet despite the clear damage being done, bringing figures like Gacanin to justice remains incredibly challenging. The very factors that have allowed this cartel to thrive, globalization, digital technology, and the ease of international finance, also make it difficult for law enforcement to build cases and secure convictions. Europol, the European Union's law enforcement agency, has described groups like the Tito and Dino cartel as polycriminal, meaning they're involved in multiple types of crime beyond drug trafficking. This might include human trafficking, weapons smuggling, or cybercrime. This diversification makes them more resilient and harder to dismantle. However, the ability of crime bosses like Gacanin to base themselves in countries with weak extradition treaties, like the UAE, creates significant hurdles for prosecutors. Even when arrests are made, the complex international nature of their operations means that building a comprehensive case can take years. There's also the issue of corruption, as the Bosnia raids showed. Gacanin's influence extended deep into the institutions meant to fight crime. This pattern is repeated across many countries, with drug money used to buy protection from politicians, judges, and law enforcement officials. So what can be done to combat organisations like the Tito and Dino cartel? Experts argue that a multi-pronged international approach is needed. Firstly, there's a need for greater cooperation between law enforcement agencies across borders. Operations like Black Tie, which involve coordination between Bosnian police, Europol, the FBI, and the DEA, show the potential of this approach. But such cooperation needs to become the norm rather than the exception. Secondly, there's a growing recognition that following the money is key. In March 2023, the United States took the significant step of sanctioning Gacanin, designating him under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act. This move freezes any assets he might have in the US and prohibits Americans from doing business with him. But sanctions alone are not enough. There's an urgent need to close loopholes in the global financial system that allow drug money to be laundered. This includes stricter regulation of offshore tax havens and free trade zones, like those Gacanin exploited in Dubai. Thirdly, addressing the demand side of the equation is crucial. European countries are increasingly recognizing that they can't solve their cocaine problem through law enforcement alone. There's a growing push for better drug education, harm reduction strategies, and treatment options for addicts. Lastly, there's the question of development in cocaine-producing countries. As long as coca remains the most profitable crop for farmers in parts of South America, there will always be a supply to feed the European market. Programs that offer viable alternative livelihoods for these farmers could help reduce cocaine production at the source. The story of Edin Gacanin is far from over. Despite the setbacks of recent years, his cartel remains a powerful force in the global drug trade. From the streets of Sarajevo to the ports of Peru, from the nightclubs of Amsterdam to the skyscrapers of Dubai, the impact of his criminal empire continues to be felt. As of 2024, Gacanin's exact whereabouts remain unknown. Some speculate he's still in Dubai, laying low, but still pulling the strings of his vast network. Others believe he may have found a new haven, perhaps in a country with even fewer extradition treaties than the UAE. Wherever he is, it's clear that a man known as the Balkan Escobar is not done yet. What is certain is that Edin Gacanin's legacy extends far beyond his personal fate. He represents a new breed of criminal, one that operates seamlessly across borders, blends legitimate business with illegal activities, and exploits the complexities of our globalized world. The challenge for law enforcement, policymakers, and societies at large is to evolve just as quickly as these criminal networks. The stakes couldn't be higher. As long as figures like Gacanin remain at large, orchestrating the flow of drugs across continents, countless lives will continue to be destroyed. In the end, the life of Edin Gacanin is a cautionary tale for our times. It shows how a child born into war can rise to command a criminal empire that challenges nations. It reveals the dark underbelly of our interconnected world, where the same forces that drive progress can be harnessed for destruction. And it poses uncomfortable questions about our societies, our institutions, and our collective responsibility in the face of global challenges. As night falls over the ports of Europe, another ship silently docks. Hidden in its cargo may be the next shipment of Gacanin's deadly trade. The battle against the Balkan Escobar, and those like him, is far from over. It's a fight that will define our era, testing our resolve, our ingenuity, and our commitment to justice in an increasingly complex world. As we conclude this chilling journey through the world of Edin Gacanin, the Balkan Escobar, we're left grappling with the dark underbelly of our globalized society. From war-torn Sarajevo to the glittering skyscrapers of Dubai, Gacanin's rise is proof of the power of ambition unleashed without moral constraints. What aspect of this tale leaves you most unsettled? Is it the sheer scale of Gacanin's operation, moving tons of cocaine across continents? The depth of corruption, reaching into the highest echelons of government and law enforcement? Or perhaps the environmental devastation wrought by the cocaine trade in South America? Consider the ingenuity of the banana route and the complex web of front companies. Does this level of sophistication in criminal enterprises surprise you? How do you think law enforcement can hope to keep up? The story of the Tito and Dino cartel raises profound questions about our interconnected world. In an era of global finance and easy travel, have we inadvertently created a paradise for criminals? What responsibility do nations like the UAE bear in harbouring fugitives like Gacanin? As you reflect on Gacanin's journey from child refugee to international drug lord, what does this say about the opportunities, both legitimate and illicit, available to those desperate enough to seize them? We've only scratched the surface of this complex tale. If you found this story as captivating as we did, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that thumbs up button, share this video with friends who appreciate a deep dive into the world's hidden realities, and subscribe to our channel for more mind-bending true crime stories that challenge your perception of the world around us. The criminal underworld never sleeps, and neither do we in our quest to bring you the most thrilling true stories from its shadowy depths.